The objective of the game is to not capture the king, but to get to the king in a position where he can't move, where he's being attacked and he can't get out of attack, which is called checkmate. Attacking the king is called check, and getting attack on the king to where he has no legal moves is called checkmate. I'll give you an example. Okay, we're aware of the rooks move. You could go left or right and up and down. Okay, so say for example, this is okay. Oh, just to let you know, the king is always on the board, regardless of however many pieces. The king is always on the board. Okay, now let's imagine this is a position and it's the black's turn. Okay, the black moves over 2 squares, and now that's the end of black's turn. But in concluding his turn, he put his line of attack at the opposing king, and that's called check. The king is now in the line of attack of an opposing piece. Now the king is in check. When you are in check, you have to, on your next turn, you immediately have to get out of that check. Okay, now there's a few different ways to do this. First way to get out of check is obviously to move. This is his whole line of attack. So on my move, I can't move here because I would still be in his line of attack. The king cannot move into attack, so that would be a no good. So my only options would be to move here, 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 or here, since I can only move one space at a time. That's the first way to get out of attack. The second way to get out of attack, I'll bring another piece on the board. Second way to get out of attack is to block the attack with another one of your pieces. So it's his turn, he moved here, attacked me, and now it's my turn. I move my piece in front of his and block his attack. That's the second way. The last way to get out of attack is another obvious, and that's to capture the piece. So let's say my queen is right here. Okay, he moves over, attacks my king, and now his piece happens to be in my line of attack. Because again, remember, I have many lines of attack. I go up and down, left and right. And so he comes over, calls check, I take his piece, and I remove the threat. And that's how you get out of check. Now, checkmate, I'm going to show you an example of that. Okay, let's put a piece, a rook here, let's put the queen here, and let's again have this other rook right here. Okay, as it stands right now, it's black's turn. It's the black piece's turn. As it stands, if it were my turn, I cannot move to any of these squares because this piece is attacking. I cannot move to any of these squares because the opposite, the black queen is attacking. So the only place that I can move, if it was my turn, is this one square. But it's not my turn. It's the black piece's turn. So on this black piece's turn, he comes over here and says check. Now remember, again, this was my only piece to move if it was my turn. Well, now it's my turn and I'm being attacked. So where can I move? Again, I can't move to any of these squares because this piece, these, because that piece, and now I can't even move to this square because I'm being attacked by that piece. That is checkmate. Checkmate is where your king is being attacked. You cannot get out of it. Period. Okay, now, there are other ways in the game besides checkmate. For example, stalemate. Stalemate is similar to checkmate in that, okay, checkmate is where your king is being attacked, but he can't move. Stalemate is where your king is not being attacked, but he can't move, and also has no other legal moves. So for example, same situation as before, and now it's the black piece's turn. Instead of moving here, say by some chance the black rook moves over here. That concludes his turn. Now it's the white piece's turn. He has no other pieces on the board except his king, so where can he move? Again, can't move here because this piece, can't move anywhere here because this piece, and also he can't move here anywhere on this row because now this piece is attacking here. So the king is stuck to square. He has no legal moves. That's what they say. The king has no legal moves. If on your turn you have no legal moves, he can't move his king, and he has no other pieces on the board, that's called a stalemate. Now, for example, Let's go to a similar situation. Say this pawn is right here, and the rook moved down, same exact spot. Is that stalemate? No, because although the king can't move, the pawn can move, so it's not stalemate. He's not absolutely stuck from moving any of his pieces. He still can move a piece. Okay, and since the king is not being attacked, not in check, he doesn't have to move his king. So this is not a stalemate. Now, the question is, okay, say a stalemate does arise, a situation like this, who wins the game? The game is concluded as a draw, regardless of how many pieces. Like obviously, black side has more pieces than the white side, but even so, if a stalemate position arises, it is stalemated and it is a draw. Nobody wins, regardless of how many pieces. Doesn't matter if he had 4 more pieces, or even if I had a couple more pieces on the board. If the pieces were unable to move, for example, again, because these can only go up and they can only attack diagonal, so if they're stuck, it's a stalemate, and it's a draw. The other way to end the game is by concluding a draw. Sometimes situations will arise, for example, like this. Say you get down to this position where both pieces only has their king and a rook. Okay, say it's white's turn, and white decides to take the black rook, and he calls check. Now it's black's turn. Black decides to take the white rook, and now they're only left with the kings. Okay, technically, actually, automatically, it's a draw. There's no way either player could win, because again, the king cannot put themselves in danger, so the kings could actually never move close to each other. It's like 2 magnets. So the game is actually automatically a draw. But sometimes, in a situation like this, 2 players will see that, and they'll see that neither player has a chance to win. Say they go back and forth, not really doing anything. They'll say, let's call it a draw. Neither side sees a way they'll win, and they'll say, we should just call it a draw. They see what's going to happen eventually. And that's pretty much the game of chess. Oh, one more thing. I almost forgot. If it is your turn, you have to move. There is no passing a move. So during the course of the game, if it's your move, you're like, oh, I don't want to move, it might not be a good move, whatever it is, you have to move. There is no passing a move. Even if you see no good move on the board, you have to move. If you really don't want to move, then you have to resign. But on your turn, it is mandatory that you move. And that should be about it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you guys learn how to play chess, because it really is a fun game, and I really hope you guys learn. It's a really fun, exciting game. It's a really challenging game, very, very competitive, and it's a very old game too. The game of chess has been around for over 1,500 years, and it's really exciting. So thanks for watching.